What up, everybody? I'm the Comic Outlaw, and it's showtime. We're going to be doing a movie review today. Yes, indeed. You know, in the 80s, horror movies could actually be scary. They could be very fucked up. They can have a lot of messed up scenes to it. They could have nudity. They could show boobies. They could have a laugh. Sometimes all of them mixed into one. And some movies lean more on the horror and some lean more on the comedy. And then there was a fine mix between the two. And this was carried on in the 90s and then died sometime in the 2000s. And you know, a lot of these horror movies nowadays, yeah, they take themselves very seriously. And the horror comedies are just too silly and too ridiculous to ever just be sort of considered a horror. It's just pure parody, and it just kind of sucks. So, I found an 80s movie that's a fine mix between the two. This movie, of course, was done by Tim Burton, and it stars Michael Keaton, Alec Baldwin, David Davis, and a young Winona Ryder. Anyways, without further ado, Beetlejuice. 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 Now, this is about a yuppie family, kind of. How can I explain what a yuppie is without. Okay, the yuppie was after the hippies. The yuppies were kind of like an 80s thing where they were the ones moving to suburbia and getting the American dream and all this stuff like that. It's kind of weird. It's kind of what the hippies kind of ended up going into. How the fuck am I supposed to? I don't care. Let's just say suburbans. Suburbians, there we go. So, like, what happens is they end up dying, according to the movie, and then they hire a freelance bioexorcist. Yes, and that is Beetlejuice. Let me explain what a bioexorcist is. It's a reverse exorcist. Like, this guy comes in, he's a ghost, he haunts the shit out of them, he maybe kills a few of them, makes them want to leave so they don't come back. But evidently, this guy started creating problems, and they ended up locking him up in kind of like ghost jail, which is just basically a curse. Take a look at the movie. Now, this is a great poster. I love this. This is the Dietz family. If you don't, and what happens is these two people, they get very desperate, like super desperate, because what happens is they die and their house gets taken over by these rich pricks that are looking to get away from it all from New York City, because the husband's all stressed out. He has panic attacks. He wasn't hugged enough as a child, and the wife is just this crazy stepmom artist that creates crap. Oh, I mean art. Sorry. And they move into the house and they start like wrecking the house, destroying the house. So they use this book, a guide for the recently deceased. Yeah, it's a mouthful. And this guide, even though it reads like radio instructions, it gives them a way to go to the spirit world and have a talk. And they're supposed to drive them out themselves. They're supposed to stay there for a certain amount of time until they can move on to the next life. And by this time, Beetlejuice has been advertising haunting their house, haunting this giant set that the guy, Alec Baldwin's character, had built. Spoilers for an old movie. And he has this giant model of the city. And Beetlejuice has been haunting that. And so the ghost lady, the one in charge, tells him not to hire him, basically. And of course, they try to do it themselves. They shit the bed. And the daughter, Lydia, actually knows and sees them because she's strange and unusual. And you can see ghosts if you're strange and unusual. which explains quite a few things about my childhood. Hmm. Anyways, so they talk to this Bible actor, and when you're young, you don't get this, but as you watch this movie when it gets older, it is extremely, extremely dirty. I mean, there's parts where he's laying on his back and his legs are up. He's like, "Oh, I feel the demons flowing through me." Like he does a lot of dirty shit, and it's worth watching. Like you watched it as a child and thought it was funny, it's worth watching again as an adult. This is back when Tim Burton was starting to reach his stride as a director, and this is pre Johnny Depp. So it's kind of nice to see with, don't get me wrong, he's made a lot of good movies with Johnny Depp. He's made some terrible movies with Johnny Depp. But this is like pre-Johnny Depp. And I do love Michael Keaton in this. He does a great job. All the actors are first class in this. There's even a song called Banana Boat by Harry Belafonte that gets used in A Haunting. Day-o, day-o. Daylight come and me wanna go home. That alone is worth the price of admission for watching this movie. Now, this movie also spawned an animated series, which I loved the hell out of. I remember being a kid and watching that show. I loved the Beetlejuice animated series. Like now, I love the movie more. Well, I love the movie for what it did, but when I was a kid, I loved the animated series. It went for almost, I think, 3 seasons. It was funny as hell. It made use of a lot of different characters. It brought a few back from the old movie. And Tim Burton gave us this world, and we wouldn't have the animated series without him. But if it wasn't for his love for the macabre, his love for horror, his love for comedy, his love for being a bit of a pervert and throwing a dash of this and a dash of that, and introducing us to actors that we might normally not see in different parts. Because Michael Keaton was doing a lot of comedies at this time. He was Mr. Mom. This is a little bit, this is right around the time that the momentum started to change for him. And he started doing Batman. He started to change gears a bit more. And Tim Burton really helped him do that, because Tim Burton was also the one that did Batman. And yes, the rumors are true. There was going to be a sequel to this. Yes, Tim Burton had even admitted there was supposed to be one where they go to Hawaii. And he just wanted to do it there because who would ever do a horror movie in Hawaii? And Tim Burton's just Tim Burton. And they've been talking about doing this for years. There was rumors recently that they might do a sequel. Michael Keaton was down, but you never know. Things tend to fall apart a lot in Hollywood. Take Thanos himself, he said in an interview that he'd be willing to do Goonies 2 before everyone was in the old folks' home. And the word of Thanos carried no weight in Hollywood. So, what would the word of Birdman, Vulture, and Batman carry in Hollywood? But anyways, I digress. I'll step off my soapbox. This movie, like I said, it's pure Tim Burton. And if you've seen Tim Burton's movies, but you haven't seen some of his classic movies, I think I might do like a classic Tim Burton run after a while, like just highlight some of his other movies, because there's a lot of older Tim Burton movies that people may not have heard of. And what I love about this one is that if you look in the back, it actually gives you 3 free episodes of Beetlejuice the animated series, which is just awesome. I mean, I have them anyways, but it's just a nice little bonus to expose people to the whole Beetlejuice feel and Beetlejuice vibe, and the cartoons that actually came afterwards. They made cartoons, toys. There was a lot of merch in this. This made Tim Burton some coin. And I'm really surprised that this movie never had a part 2 to it. I mean, they made an Alice in Wonderland 2, but they can't make a Beetlejuice 2. What the hell? What the hell? I would totally be down to see it. I think Michael Keaton could still pull it off. I mean, ghosts are ghosts. And with all the special effects and digital effects, I would totally be down to watch it. Waynona has expressed interest in the part. I would totally want to see a part 2. But if you've never seen this, I recommend highly seeing this. It's real interesting. The ghost world is fascinating, and it's worth a watch and a second watch. That way you can catch the little pieces that you've missed of the ghost world, or this and that. There's a lot of like little messages in this very very subtle. Like people that commit suicide, I'll give you this one. Work at the DMV or the version of the spirit place they visit, the office. They have to work in bureaucracy. How's that for punishment? ah, man, I love a movie with a good sense of humor. But yes, but this comedy, a little horror in it, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a true masterpiece by Tim Burton, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. And as always, I'm Jack Slater, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.